UK turn 1. The UK is going to spend $4 on its tech. It's going to spend $4 on an artillery, and it's going to spend $30 on 10 infantry. There are a number of attacks that the UK is going to declare. First up, the destroyer from C-Zone 109 is going to attack the submarine in C-Zone 106 and try and get rid of the Canadian convoy there. C-Zone 96 in the Med is being attacked by the cruiser from 91 and the fighter from Gibraltar, as well as the carrier from C-Zone 98 is going to come into that attack as well. We are also going to attack the Italian Navy in C-Zone 97 with a tactical bomber from 98 from the carrier, a cruiser and a destroyer, the fighter from Malta, and also the bomber, the strategic bomber from London. There are also some attacks happening in the Horn of Africa. The infantry and tank from Alexandria, or El Alamein, are going to load up onto the transport in C-Zone 98 and come down to C-Zone 76 and attack Ethiopia. That attack will be supported by a mechanized infantry from Egypt and the Anglo-Egyptian Sudan infantry. It will also be supported by a cruiser offshore shot from C-Zone 39. Now, also in C-Zone 39, the Brits are going to load up an infantry and an artillery from India, and they're going to come in and attack Italian Somaliland. So I think that's all the combats. 3 naval combats and 2 land combats to roll out. I think we'll do the land combats first. Oh, just forgot about the last attack move. The guy in the West Indies is going to be walking into Eastern Persia and claiming that for the Brits as well. This is the amphibious assault on Ethiopia. The HMS Stalker transport ship is dropping off an infantry and a tank, and is being supported by an offshore shot from the HMS Newfoundland. In addition, coming in from the land are an infantry and a mechanized infantry. Italy is defending with 2 infantry and an artillery. So we have 3 1s and 2 3s versus 3 2s. And we got 1 hit so far. So one of the Italians is dead. And we will not get to roll that again because that's an offshore shot. But 3 2s, no hits. That's good news for the Italians. Okay, so 3 1s and a 3. Or, sorry, good news for the British. 2 hits, so that does end the battle. But the Italians do get to shoot back. 1 hit. So the Brits lose an infantry, but they take the territory. This is the amphibious assault on Italian Somaliland. The HMS Glenern transport ship is bringing in an infantry and an artillery, and they're going up against an Italian infantry. So 2 2s versus a 2. Hit. Battle over, but Italians get to respond. Miss. So the Italians are completely wiped out of the Horn of Africa, and England manages to consolidate that area. Okay, the battle for C-Zone 97. The Brits are coming in with the destroyer, the HMS Eclipse, and the cruiser, the HMS Devonshire. Also, they're coming in with a fighter and a strategic bomber, plus a tactical bomber from the carrier, the HMS Ark Royal. The Italians are defending with the battleship Littorio and the cruiser Taranto. Also in the battle, although not rolling anything, is the transport ship Victoria. So, the battleship is going to get to fire at the planes, 3 anti-aircraft, and it misses with all the anti-aircraft, which is very good news for the Brits. Okay, so 2 for the destroyer, 3 for the fighter, 3 for the cruiser, 4 for the bomber, and 4 for the tactical bomber. 2 hits. That's not a good start. Okay, he didn't really tell me what he wanted to do here, so I'm going to have to make decisions for him. I'll tip the battleship. And I'll lose 1 of the fighters. And the justification for that is the fighter is $10 and the cruiser is $12. So if he didn't want me to do that, that's too bad. He didn't tell me. Okay, in terms of defense, there are 2 4s for the fighters, and a 4 for the battleship before it's damaged, and a 4 for the combined arms defense on the cruiser. So 4 4s are going to be involved in the attack here, or in the defense. 3 hits. Wow. Okay. All right. So we're going to lose the bomber. We're going to lose the destroyer, and we're going to lose the cruiser. Wow, that was devastating. Okay. So 2 4s and a 2 now versus 3 and a 4. Okay. So these are all dead. All right, so we have a 3 and a 4. 2 hits. That's good news. Okay. Well, I guess he'll lose the ships and keep... if he loses the ships and keeps the fighter, I just retreat. This is tricky. Okay, in terms of his best defensive move, I'll lose the damaged battleship, and I'll lose the fighter, and I'll keep the cruiser in the sea zone. Although it will go down to a 3 for defense. Okay, so in terms of defense, we have a damaged battleship, a cruiser that is still paired in this round anyway at a 4, and then a fighter at a 4. 2 hits, so that destroys the planes, and part of the Navy is preserved, which is really, really bad news for the British. Okay, so the Italians win the battle, and in the sea zone remains a cruiser and a transport. This is the attack on Sea Zone 96. The British carrier, the HMS Ark Royal, and the British cruiser, the HMS Norfolk, along with a fighter from Gibraltar, are attacking the Italian destroyer Tigre and the Italian transport Conte Rosso. So 2 3s, 2 hits, so the battle's over. They do get a defense. Miss. So sea zone cleared, no casualties for the British. Battle for Sea Zone 106, the British destroyer HMS Ulster is going up against the German U-boat U-82, I think? U-82. Okay, here we go. 2 versus a 1. Hit. Hit. Son of a bitch. Okay. So the both ships destroy each other, but the sea zone is now cleared, and the Canadians are no longer being convoyed. Okay, for non-combat, the Brits are going to move their fighter in Scotland down into the UK. They're going to move their anti-aircraft artillery into the UK. And they're going to send their transport into Sea Zone 106 with the Canadians. Down in the Med, the fighter that participated in the Sea Zone 96 attack is going to land on the carrier in Alexandria or El Alamein. The artillery is going to move into Egypt, and the infantry is going to stay right where it is. All the way down in South Africa, the 2 infantry that are there are going to be railed 3 spaces to Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. The destroyer in Sea Zone 71 is going to join the cruiser in Sea Zone 78. And then in the Pacific, the destroyer in Sea Zone 39 is going to go over to, sorry, that's 76, isn't it? The cruiser in 76. Okay, so there will be 2 destroyers and a cruiser in that sea zone. The 2 planes, the fighter and the tactical bomber from India, are going to make their way to British Somaliland. 3 of the infantry from India will be railed 2 spaces to Eastern Persia. And everything else in India, so that's 3 anti-aircraft and 2 infantry, are going to be moved forward into Burma. The 3 infantry from Malaya are going to move up into Shan State. And the battleship in 37 is going to move to Sea Zone 39 just off the coast of India. So that should be all of the non-combat moves for the British. So once I tidy up the board, I'll be back with placements and income. Alright, no surprise here for placements. 9 of the 10 infantry are going to go into the United Kingdom. And 1 infantry and 1 artillery are going to be placed down in South Africa. In terms of income, the Brits do get to flip a few markers, but some of them are not worth anything. Okay, Eastern Persia is now British, and then in the Horn of Africa, Italian Somaliland is now British, and Ethiopia is now British. Now, Ethiopia is the only one of the 3 countries that is worth anything, so the Brits will get to go up from 38 to 39, and the Italians will go down from 10 to 9. So the Brits' base income is $39, and they're going to get a national objective of 5 IPCs for controlling Transjordan, Egypt, and Alexandria / El Alamein. So let's go to the right side up side of the board and start the disposition of forces. So in Sea Zone 106, there is a British transport. In the UK proper, there are 5 anti-aircraft artillery, 1 mechanized infantry, 3 fighters, and then 11 infantry, along with 2 French infantry and a French fighter. In the Med, in Sea Zone 96, there is a carrier with a fighter on board. There is a cruiser, sorry. And then in Malta, there's an infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery. In Alexandria / El Alamein, there's an infantry. In Egypt, there are 2 artillery and 1 infantry, along with 2 Canadian infantry. In Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, there are now 2 infantry. And then there's a fair bit here in the Horn of Africa. In Ethiopia, there's an infantry, a tank, and a mechanized infantry. In Italian Somaliland, there's an infantry and an artillery. In British Somaliland, there is a fighter and a tactical bomber. And then in Sea Zone 76, there are 2 destroyers, a cruiser, and 2 transports. And then all the way down here in South Africa, oops, that's really blurry, there is an infantry and an artillery. In eastern Persia, there are 4 infantry. In Sea Zone 39, there is a battleship. And in Burma, there are 4 infantry, 1 fighter, and 3 anti-aircraft artillery. In Shan State, there are 3 infantry. I think this might be all of the forces for England. So that's UK's turn, and the Italians are up next.